Let's all welcome to Derry. The final episode is upon us, but let's break down this new episode that we just received. Then tomorrow we will do some theory videos, so stay tuned for that. Last night's episode truly was incredible. We saw a ton of things happened, and one of them in particular was, of course, we had to say goodbye to my boy Rich. I love Rich. I thought he was such a great character, but he did whatever it took to pretty much protect Marge in a showmanship of true love. He let her go inside of this chest so she would be safe. So the black spot burned down and a lot of people died because of the racists that came looking for Hank. But ultimately Hank was able to get out of there thanks to Dick Halloran using his newfound friends or foes. It looks like Dick is going through it definitely a lot now with all of these dead people all around him. But he was able to find a way out for Hank as well as Ronnie and Will. But sadly, Rich was not one of them, and he ultimately died at trying to save Marge by having her be in this chest, which helped her not to consume all of the smoke, but also from the roof caving in on her. At the same time, we saw that Pennywise took this opportunity as his catalytic event before he ultimately goes into his slumber. Like I said, he was going to go into his slumber after this event. He even says this was a great event for him to come and to be able to devour and kill and all of that, which he did. He even ends up killing Mrs. Hirsch's husband by slicing him with a cleaver, which I thought was just insane. I'm telling you, this show is like a Saturday morning cartoon sometimes, and sometimes it just hits. And it was definitely great to see also Ingrid, who is Mr. Bob Gray's daughter, of course the persona that it has taken upon itself as Pennywise, because we find out at the beginning of the episode that Pennywise the dancing clown was an actual clown portrayed by Bob Gray, who is Ingrid's father, and it sort of saw that Pennywise would be able to lure crowds and kids, and it thought to itself, you know what, if I'm a clown like that, I can bring in more kids, I can consume them, and thus get stronger and better. And so Pennywise went forth with this and decided to become the persona of Bob Gray now. Now we see that things have definitely gotten out of control, because this is where we see that Pennywise becomes the entity we know. He lures Mr. Bob Gray by portraying himself as a young child, looking for their lost parents, even making the sounds of their parents screaming. So Bob Gray is lured into the forest, which was very sad to see, because up until this point we had seen that Periwinkle, who of course is Ingrid at a young age, was ready to go out there with her father and perform together, especially because Periwinkle was the name of her mother's stage name. And we find out that Bob Gray's wife and Ingrid's mother ultimately had died. We still don't know why, and I wonder if we'll find more backstory on this, because I believe that the next season is going to take place 27 years prior to when Mrs. Ingrid was working at the psych ward, where she first saw her father being used by it. So we might get some more backstory there. But I really did love the whole setup between Periwinkle and Pennywise now today outside of the black spot. Truly was horrifying to see Periwinkle still believe that this thing was her father, and seeing him ultimately kill Mr. Hirsch like that and not batting an eye about it. Very, very eerie stuff for sure. Military is then also able to find the missing shard that they're looking for in order to contain Pennywise, but what they do with it is actually more evil, because we thought up until this point they were trying to find it, to harness it, to study it, to see how they can control it in order to use fear amongst the enemy. But according to the general, to the surprise of Hanlon, the general says that they actually want to let it run rampage across the nation, because they believe that a nation that is full of fear is easier to control, and that they're going to control it. Of course they're not, but they think they will, and that then they will be able to have law and order through fear and control. So that's pretty much what they're doing. And if Hanlon wants to get in the way, Hanlon's going to end up getting shot. So really, really despicable stuff here happening as well. Of course, we see that the shard is ultimately destroyed, and then this is when Pennywise is able to come out of his slumber, because he said he was going to sleep, y'all. He was done. He just sent Mrs. Hirsch into a panic attack, which she did go into in a comatose state of sorts. We're probably going to end up seeing her, of course, later down the road in It Chapter 2, when we see her and Beverly have that meeting. But we do see that she is going to be in a comatose stage for now, but I think she's going to be the main star of chapter chapter 2 or season 2 of Welcome to Derry, where we're going to go back in time. But ultimately, Pennywise was chilling. He was in the cave. He was in the blood. He was just going to go to sleep, wait his 27 years. Even the natives thought it was done, and they said, well, see y'all in 27 years. But no, the military had to come and fuck shit up, didn't they? So they come in, destroy the shard. Pennywise is out. A full-on rampage is about to happen. Who's the first one? It's going to be Will. Will meets Pennywise in his kitchen, and I'm just going to say it. I think Bill Skarsgård is just having the time of his life playing Pennywise. Truly an energy was brought into this show when Pennywise showed up, and I love it. So I'm excited to see what this final episode will showcase. But as we know, the black spot was the catalytic event. This was supposed to be the end, the big bang for Pennywise of sorts to have. And now we see in the next episode from the trailer that Pennywise is going to full on ravage Derry like no other. We see that the mist comes through. This is probably after the shard is broken, and now there's going to have to be a new way to find a shard, right? Or create one of sorts. In past teasers and trailers, we've seen that the kids are ultimately going to be here. Maybe they find a way to create one with the natives. We have seen that Rose knows now about this after Tanya comes to tell her. This was happening when she was trying to help Hank find a way to get away from all of this, because right now the whole town believes Hank is dead because his clothes were found charred, and this was all thanks to a plan that they had devised in order to help Hank escape. But it seems that Pennywise has other plans on his mind, and those plans include taking over the school and making an announcement. I think this announcement is going to be to get all of the kids in one place, maybe the gym, because we see in the trailer that the kids ultimately get trapped here. The deadlights are going to be front and center, and we saw what they did to Ingrid, so imagine what it's going to do to all of these people. It looks like the patty cakes are going to be the first ones that are going to be there. We see that Halloran might be a lot more useful as well, because it seems, in my opinion, that Halloran might be able to use the dead souls around him to contain it, but we'll talk about that in my theory video tomorrow, so stay tuned. I thought this episode was great for giving us the backstory of Bob Gray, which was truly a sad one to see on display, and it was just so messed up what it did to Ingrid. I think Ingrid's mind definitely got a warp seeing the image of her father now being this evil entity of sorts called It. Rich's sacrifice was definitely a big thing in this episode as well. There was just no way he and Marge were going to be able to escape, as they weren't really able to see, so he just thought of the best way for her to survive by herself, and she is able to do this. And you know, I think Lily's shard that she still has is going to be the crucial part of all of this, because I don't think anybody else besides the kids remember this, and I think that shard is what's going to ultimately help to contain Pennywise. But I think it's going to take the power of friendship of sorts for them to be able to do so. But the new trailer for the final episode looks really great, so I'll talk more about my theories, where I think we're going with this final episode, and then we'll also discuss and break down that episode once it comes out and talk about theories for season 2, because I think season 2 is going to really try and expand this lore more, especially with Mrs. Hirsch, because Ingrid is such a crucial character to the whole lore of Bob Gray, Pennywise, and It. So I think that's where we get some more answers. But I thought it was a great episode. Definitely think that each episode the show gets better, and I know that the natives are going to be pissed for what the military did, but the military is straight up evil with their plans here. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions on episode 8. If you're excited for that, stay tuned for the theories tomorrow. I'll see all of you next time. Hit that subscribe button. 50,000 subscribers is the goal. Stay safe, stay positive.